My child, pause for a moment and listen carefully. The fact that you are here right now is not coincidence, and what is about to unfold is meant specifically for you. Something subtle has been stirring in your spirit, a quiet awareness that today would carry meaning beyond the ordinary. You didn't imagine that feeling. Stay with me. You need to hear this. There has been a question resting gently in your heart, not spoken aloud, but felt. A sense that something connected to your life, your relationships, or your journey has more depth than you were shown. You may not have known how to explain it, but you felt it in the pauses, in the emotional shifts, in moments where clarity almost arrived and then pulled back again. This is not accidental. This part matters. My beloved child, there are seasons when truth is layered, not hidden to harm you, but withheld until you are strong enough to receive it with peace instead of pain. You are now standing in such a moment. What is coming into awareness is not meant to disturb you, but to steady you. You have always been perceptive. You notice what others overlook. You sense undercurrents. And yet, even with that sensitivity, there has been something you couldn't fully see, because it did not originate with you. It began long before your involvement, long before your intentions, long before your presence entered the picture. Stay with me. Don't skip. The understanding you've been waiting for is approaching gently. Sometimes another soul carries an unspoken history, a quiet loss that shaped how they learned to love, trust, or hold space for another. These losses don't announce themselves. They settle into behavior, into patterns, into emotional reflexes. And unless they are recognized, they influence the present silently. My beloved child, this is why certain moments felt heavier than they should have. Why certain connections felt meaningful yet restrained. Why you sensed sincerity alongside distance. You were not misreading anything. You were perceiving depth without context. And now, context is arriving. This revelation is not about reopening wounds. It is about releasing confusion. When truth arrives at the right time, it does not overwhelm. It clarifies. You were never meant to carry responsibility for what you didn't cause. You were never meant to interpret another's guardedness as your inadequacy. What you encountered was not a reflection of your worth, but a reflection of an unresolved chapter they had not yet laid to rest. Let this sink in. You did not fail to be enough. You were present during a moment of internal conflict that had nothing to do with your effort, sincerity, or heart. And recognizing this frees you from questions that kept looping without answers. My beloved child, understanding does not mean you minimize your own experience. It means you finally see it clearly. Clarity is not cold. It is compassionate and firm at the same time. There is strength in realizing that not every hesitation is rejection. Not every silence is absence of care. Sometimes it is simply the echo of something that was lost and never fully acknowledged. Stay with me. What follows is important. The reason this awareness is unfolding now is because you are ready to stand in your own emotional alignment. You are no longer meant to wonder, wait, or quietly adjust yourself to make sense of inconsistency. You are meant to move forward grounded, calm, and steady. When hidden losses come into the light, they lose their power to shape the present unconsciously. Awareness restores balance. Balance restores peace. And peace does not require closure from another person. It comes from understanding within yourself. My beloved child, you are allowed to hold compassion without sacrificing your boundaries. You are allowed to understand without overextending your energy. You are allowed to step forward without carrying confusion as a companion. This moment is not about endings. It is about recalibration. What once felt uncertain now has context. What once felt personal now has perspective. And what once felt heavy can now be released. You were not late. You were not misplaced. You were present exactly where you were meant to be, learning what you needed to learn, seeing what you were ready to see. The strength returning to you now is quiet but firm. It does not demand explanation. It does not chase clarity. It stands in it. My beloved child, the door opening is not behind you. It is within you. And as you move forward, you do so with understanding instead of doubt, calm instead of tension, and certainty instead of questioning. Stay steady. Stay aware. And trust that what is revealed at the right time is always meant to bring alignment, never harm. You are not here to carry what was never yours. You are here to walk forward with clarity, strength, and peace. And that is exactly what you are doing now. My beloved child, now that the surface has settled, there is something deeper that needs to be spoken. What you have begun to understand is only the first layer, and this next part is meant to anchor that understanding so it does not slip away when emotions return. Stay with me. You need to hear this. When truth begins to rise, it often brings a quiet stillness before clarity fully lands. You may feel reflective right now, not heavy, not restless, just aware. That awareness is not weakness. It is alignment forming within you. There was a time when you tried to make sense of things by looking outward. You replayed conversations, moments, expressions, and pauses, wondering where the meaning was hiding. But meaning was never missing. It was simply placed in a context you could not access yet. Until now. My beloved child, what you sensed was real, but your spirit was protecting you from carrying knowledge before you were ready. Not everything revealed early brings peace. Some truths require maturity of the heart to be held without pain. You have reached that maturity. This is why this message reaches you calmly, not forcefully. There are connections in life that awaken dormant parts of us. When that happens, unresolved memories from another's past can surface without warning. Not to repeat history, but to be acknowledged at last. You were present during such an awakening. This does not mean you were meant to stay in uncertainty. It means you were meant to understand your role correctly. Stay with me. This part matters. You were not placed in their life to heal what they lost. You were placed there to reveal what still existed within them. That is a subtle but powerful difference. Healing is a personal journey. Revelation is a shared moment. And once revelation happens, each soul must choose its next step individually. You may have wondered why progress felt slow, or why clarity seemed just within reach but never fully settled. That was not resistance toward you. That was an internal crossroads they had not yet faced. My beloved child, hear this clearly. When someone stands between what was lost and what could be restored, they hesitate. Not because the future lacks promise, but because the past still holds weight. That weight was never yours to carry. Understanding this allows you to release something very important, the belief that your patience or effort could have changed the outcome. Some realizations cannot be rushed. Some awakenings cannot be forced. You did your part by being present, sincere, and genuine. Now, there is something else unfolding for you. As clarity settles, your spirit is reclaiming space that was previously occupied by questions. That space is meant for strength, direction, and discernment. You are no longer meant to interpret signals. You are meant to trust your grounded understanding. This is where calm authority rises within you. You will notice that you are less reactive, less tempted to overanalyze, less drawn into emotional uncertainty. This is not detachment. This is stability. My beloved child, stability is a sign of growth. Stay with me. The deeper purpose of this revelation is still revealing itself. When you stop internalizing what was never personal, your energy returns to you. And when your energy returns, your clarity sharpens. You begin to see which doors are aligned with peace and which ones were lessons, not destinations. This does not diminish the value of what you felt. Meaningful connections are not invalidated by their impermanence. They are honored by the growth they produce. You are stepping into a season where your heart no longer negotiates with uncertainty. It listens, discerns, and moves with intention. This is important. The understanding you now carry will protect you from repeating emotional patterns that do not serve your future. It will allow you to recognize readiness instead of potential, presence instead of possibility. And that discernment is a gift. My beloved child, you are not closing yourself off. You are opening yourself correctly. There is a difference. As you move forward, you will notice that what once felt confusing now feels neutral. What once pulled at you emotionally now rests quietly. That is not loss. That is release. And release creates room. Room for alignment. Room for peace. Room for connections that meet you with clarity instead of complexity. Stay steady. What is unfolding is gentle but intentional. You are being guided into a phase where your strength is quiet, your boundaries are natural, and your sense of self is anchored. You no longer need external confirmation to feel secure in your understanding. My beloved child, this part of your journey is about integration. Taking what you learned and allowing it to refine you, not harden you. You are becoming someone who sees clearly without losing compassion. Who understands deeply without overextending. Who moves forward without dragging the past behind them. This is growth you can feel, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. And this is only the beginning of what clarity will bring. My beloved child, now listen even more closely. What you have received so far has brought understanding, but this next part is meant to settle that understanding into your spirit so it becomes unshakable. Stay with me. This part matters more than you realize. There is a subtle shift happening within you. It may not be dramatic, but it is decisive. You are no longer standing in the space of waiting for meaning to arrive. Meaning has arrived, and now it is rearranging how you see yourself, your past, and what you will no longer accept going forward. You may notice that certain memories no longer carry the same emotional charge. They are still there, but they no longer pull at you. This is not because they were unimportant, but because their purpose has been fulfilled. They taught you discernment, depth, and patience. And now they are releasing you. My beloved child, when clarity becomes internal, it no longer depends on another person's actions or explanations. You are stepping into a place where your peace is self-contained. This is not isolation. This is sovereignty. Stay with me. You need to hear what comes next. There was a time when you would have tried to bridge every gap, soften every silence, and make sense of every inconsistency. That season has ended. Not because your heart has hardened, but because it has matured. Maturity does not demand answers. It recognizes patterns. You now understand that some people enter our lives as mirrors, not as permanent companions. They reflect what needs to be seen, both within us and within themselves. Once that reflection has done its work, the connection naturally changes. This does not diminish the connection's significance. It clarifies its role. My beloved child, you were a mirror of possibility. And when possibility appears, it often unsettles what is unresolved. That unsettling was never your fault. Stay present. This insight is important. What you are experiencing now is emotional alignment. Your inner world is catching up with what your intuition has known for some time. And when alignment occurs, confusion dissolves without effort. You may feel a quiet confidence rising. Not loud, not demanding, but steady. This confidence does not seek reassurance. It trusts its own discernment. This is strength. You are no longer asking, "What did I do wrong?" You are asking, "What does this teach me about my path?" That shift changes everything. My beloved child, your path requires clarity, not complexity. It requires presence, not potential. And now, you are able to recognize the difference. This is why you are being called to move forward without lingering attachment to unanswered questions. Unanswered questions are no longer threats to your peace. They are simply information you do not need. Stay with me. The reason this matters is about what comes next in your life. As you stand grounded in understanding, you become unavailable to emotional uncertainty. You will notice that you no longer feel drawn to situations where clarity must be extracted through effort. You will feel naturally aligned with what is open, honest, and steady. This is not avoidance. This is discernment. My beloved child, discernment is a form of protection that does not require defense. It simply guides you toward what is right for you. You are entering a season where your energy is reserved for what reciprocates clarity. You will feel less compelled to explain yourself, less inclined to wait for others to catch up emotionally. And this is not loss. This is alignment. Let this settle into you. What you once questioned about yourself is now becoming a source of wisdom. Your sensitivity is no longer something you try to manage. It is something you trust. Your awareness is no longer a burden. It is a compass. My beloved child, the calm you feel is not temporary. It is the result of integration. When understanding and self-worth meet, peace becomes stable. Stay steady. The work happening within you is quiet but permanent. You are not moving away from connection. You are moving toward the right kind of connection. And as you continue forward, you do so with clarity, self-respect, and a deep inner knowing that you no longer need to chase meaning. Meaning now walks with you. This is the strength that remains when confusion leaves. And it will guide you well. My beloved child, now we move into a deeper stillness, the kind that comes after understanding has settled and no longer needs to explain itself. This part is gentle, but it is powerful. Stay with me. You need to hear this. There is a quiet authority forming inside you. It does not rush. It does not argue. It simply knows. This is what happens when your spirit is no longer divided between hope and uncertainty. You are becoming internally aligned. You may notice that you are no longer waiting for a message, a sign, or a shift from anyone else to feel settled. That waiting used to pull at your energy. Now it feels distant, almost unnecessary. This is not indifference. This is grounding. My beloved child, when grounding happens, you stop giving meaning to things that no longer hold truth. You stop filling silence with interpretation. You stop translating inconsistency into hope. And in doing so, you reclaim your clarity. Stay with me. This understanding is essential. The reason the past no longer has the same pull is because it has finished teaching you. Lessons do not linger once they are integrated. They release their grip naturally. You are no longer meant to revisit what required you to shrink, wait, or wonder. Your spirit has outgrown that environment. This does not mean you regret it. It means you have completed it. My beloved child, completion is not always marked by a conversation or an explanation. Sometimes it is marked by internal peace. And that peace is what you are feeling now. Let it deepen. As this peace settles, you may feel more selective with your time, your words, and your emotional energy. This is not withdrawal. This is wisdom. You are learning where to place your attention so it nourishes you instead of draining you. Stay with me. This part matters. You are stepping into a season where your presence is deliberate. You no longer enter spaces hoping to be understood. You enter spaces where understanding already exists. This shift will feel subtle at first, but it will change everything. My beloved child, what once felt like longing is transforming into discernment. What once felt like attachment is transforming into respect for your own emotional truth. This is growth you cannot fake. It happens quietly, from the inside out. You may notice that your reactions have softened. Not because you care less, but because you are no longer triggered by what is misaligned. Misalignment no longer challenges your sense of self. This is strength. Stay present. There is one more layer to this understanding. As you release the need to make sense of what is no longer active in your life, you make room for what is approaching with clarity. You do not have to search for it. Alignment recognizes alignment. My beloved child, what is meant for you will not require you to doubt yourself. It will not ask you to translate uncertainty into meaning. It will meet you where you stand, not halfway, not someday, but clearly. This is not anticipation. This is preparation. Your heart is learning to rest without closing. Your mind is learning to trust without overthinking. Your spirit is learning to move without hesitation. Stay steady. The calm you are cultivating now is not fragile. It is rooted. And what is rooted does not get shaken by temporary confusion or unresolved echoes from the past. My beloved child, you are no longer reacting to life. You are responding from clarity. And as you continue forward, you will recognize this moment as the point where everything inside you finally came into alignment. This is not an ending. This is the foundation. My beloved child, now we arrive at the place where clarity becomes direction. Everything you have understood, released, and integrated is not meant to leave you standing still. It is meant to orient you. Stay with me. This part matters deeply. There is a new steadiness in how you hold yourself, even if you haven't consciously named it yet. You move differently now. You listen differently. You pause with intention instead of uncertainty. This is not something you forced. It emerged naturally as truth settled in. You are no longer pulled forward by questions. You are led forward by discernment. My beloved child, when discernment leads, your choices become quieter and more accurate. You stop explaining yourself to situations that already showed you who they were. You stop negotiating your needs to preserve connections that were never fully present. This is not distance. This is self-respect finding its voice. Stay with me. What comes next is important. You are beginning to recognize alignment by how it feels in your body, not just how it sounds in words. Peace no longer requires convincing. It is immediate. Tension no longer needs justification. It reveals itself clearly. This awareness will guide you more reliably than analysis ever could. My beloved child, there is nothing wrong with your desire for depth, clarity, and emotional presence. These are not excessive needs. They are indicators of the level at which you are meant to connect. You were never asking for too much. You were asking the right things from the wrong context. Let that settle. As you continue forward, you will notice that you are less willing to compromise your inner calm for emotional intensity. You are choosing steadiness over fluctuation, consistency over potential. This is wisdom earned, not caution born of fear. Stay present. This shift prepares you for something specific. You are being aligned with people and situations that recognize your clarity without being threatened by it. Where your grounded presence is welcomed, not questioned. Where your emotional honesty is met, not managed. My beloved child, this is the environment where you will thrive. And you will recognize it not by dramatic beginnings, but by how natural it feels to remain yourself. There will be no need to adjust your tone, minimize your expectations, or translate your truth. You will be received as you are. This is not idealism. This is alignment. You are no longer rehearsing conversations in your mind. You are no longer anticipating emotional shifts. You are no longer preparing yourself for inconsistency. You are present. Stay with me. The reason this matters is because presence attracts presence. When you stop settling for half clarity, full clarity finds you. When you stop holding space for confusion, space opens for connection that is grounded and mutual. My beloved child, your journey has refined your awareness, not hardened your heart. You remain open, but now you are anchored. You remain compassionate, but now you are discerning. This balance is powerful. As you move forward, you will notice that your life begins to reflect the order you have created internally. Conversations feel cleaner. Decisions feel lighter. Connections feel more stable.